Good morning, everybody. I'm Vincent Meza. This is Listings to Leads, and this is our call on Facebook and Google Ads. And I'm going to position today's call in the aftermath of the NAR settlement, because I think everybody knows that we're still going to have buyers agents out there in the market. We might have fewer, but we just don't know how they're going to get paid right now. I know in some states like Pennsylvania, this has already been a thing. They're going to just keep trucking. But I think the rest of the country and not the entire country, but they're going to have to figure this out. The settlement didn't quite do that. All that being said, let's talk about what we can do with Facebook and Google to get business, right? And I'm going to talk about the buyer side first, because it's going to be very fast and very simple. And then I'm going to talk about all the ways you can get listing leads. Now, there is a question panel in there. If you have questions at any time, just put it in there and I'll take a breath and we'll do that. So first of all, click on ads. If you're brand new to us, click on ads. And when you click on ads, the first time you come here, you're going to see a button that says connect to Facebook and connect to Google, but just connect to Facebook. And all the Facebook ad software is just part of the platform. We also have software from Google, but that's a $30 a month add-on, and I think it's worthwhile. Definitely dive into the Google side a little bit later. But everything that we see once you're connected is Facebook, Google, and create audience. If you don't see create audience, that's because there's a couple of yellow boxes down here that say accept terms and turn on retargeting, or it might say we can't create a custom audience because something is weird in your account. Ping support for help on that. You want to get this create audience. This is a very important piece. We're going to dive into this in a minute. Okay. So we're going to focus right now. How do we get buyers? What's the fastest way? And I know half of you are like, I don't care about buyers, but guess what? You're just going to have to hear this. Here's the fastest, cheapest way to get buyer leads with name, email, and phone number. Want to point out lead ads. Leave it here. I don't think there's really any real reason for you to be driving a traffic ad. A video ad is great, but if you don't know how to do that, then I wouldn't mess with it. Lead ads means that your leads from Facebook are pre-populated from the profile of name, email, and phone number. And that means people aren't typing in information. That means that's the fastest, easiest way to get lead information is to use lead ads. So use those default settings. Now this property is for sale in Folsom. So it's automatically pulling Folsom up here, and it's a $35 ad for 7 days. This is all you need to know about how to get buyer leads. Okay. And let me explain something, because it's funny. I got a message from a new client and he says, hey, I ran an ad and I got 11 leads and I've called them all and they're not responding. Is that normal? And let me answer for you. That is totally normal. Let me also give you a concept of lead conversion. And I specifically told him, I said, look, I on average, Facebook leads convert 1 to 3%. Okay. And that's average. And that's not going to convert like that if you're a typical agent that calls a lead once and never calls them again. That's not going to be converting. It's not worth even making that phone call. And just to speak to conversion, I'm pretty sure most of you have a fancy smartphone like I do. Mine tells me anytime it's a spam call, and that could be any realtor that makes a whole lot of phone calls, because literally, who calls me all day but realtors? And some of them make so many phone calls that it just comes in and says spam on my phone. I don't answer that. A lot of people won't even answer a phone if they don't know the number. If they don't know who's calling them, they just don't answer it. And then you got people who might answer the phone and then they're like, oh, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about. That's the reality of phones in the world today. I'm sure you're getting phone calls from people that you don't want to be talking to, and you're going to give them whatever response. Same thing, get you off the phone. Here's the thing. When you're running our ads and you're getting name, email, and phone number, make sure you have a drip campaign and make sure you text them maybe 2 or 3 times the first 3 days, 4 days. to let them know that you're busy helping other people, but you want to make sure they're taken care of. And have your drip campaigns hit them once a day for the first few days, and then put them on a longer drip, right? And text them once a week after that until they're ready to talk to you, right? I know that many of us have heard the term speed the lead, and that term was created before cell phones was created. And now we're in a totally different world. So you need to know that first of all. And I'll tell you the rest of the conversation. I said, hey, I have teams that convert 1 out of 70 Facebook leads, 1 out of 70, right? So that's better than 1 to 3%. But I said, you have 11 leads. And that makes sense because you know what? A buyer lead has a cost. If we run a $35 ad for a home that's for sale, a buyer lead typically costs $3 each, on average around the United States. If you live in a small town, middle of nowhere, it's going to be less. If you live in Manhattan, New York, it's going to cost more. But on average, a buyer lead is $3. And this person says, yeah, I ran an ad, got 11 leads, name, email, phone number. Nobody wants to talk to me. Is that normal? I said, yes, because 1 out of 100 or 3 out of 100 convert and you have 11 leads. Keep going. Let me tell you, if obviously there's a budget question, but if you're trying to sell a home and you really want to get it sold, you could change that budget to a higher number, $50 or $100, right? Or whatever budget. It's still going to be a $7 7-day ad. And if the leads cost $11 each, you're going to get 30 plus leads in a week with name, email, and phone number. Now you're getting close to that 1 to 3% conversion rate, right? So this is for buyers. And if you have a listing, the fastest way to get buyer leads is to run an ad on a home that's for sale. A faster way is to run an ad on a home that has an open house. That tends to get better results. And just to point out, and we're going to get into the seller side, so just hang tight. If you're a newer agent, you're not going to walk right into listings. You might not even have your own listings, but you could go to one of your office colleagues or friend and say, hey, you have a listing. Can I market that listing and go try to find some buyers for you, right? And if they say yes, you can come here to the listings page, click grab listing, drop in the zip code and MLS ID, and grab it. And all the tools that we create for a listing is going to be available for you. Okay. Now, one thing I want to point out is when you're running ads on a singular listing, you're 99% of the time, you just want to do that on Facebook. Okay. You don't want to do that on Google unless it's like a property with 100 acres and it's got something really unique about it. Or I don't know, maybe you're selling, who knows? It's got to be something really unique for you to be running an ad on a single listing on Google. Maybe it's a big waterfront property when you got like a dock and this and that. Maybe, but not really. Okay. If you want buyer leads, Facebook is the place to do it. Now, and if you run an ad on a property that is active or coming soon or open house, that's going to get you buyer leads. If you run an ad on a property that is pending or under contract or sold, that's going to get you listing leads. Okay. So now we're going to kind of transition into how do I get listing leads with Facebook and Google? Okay. And because now we know the fastest way to get buyer leads is to run ads on Facebook with a listing, whether it's your ad, your listing or not your listing. So on my ad, it's asking them to text. How do I change that? Let's do that, Natalie. Let's look at that. So I have text IVR service. Okay. And that's what Natalie's saying. So on her ad, it's showing that you can text. And so let's see if I'm going to do a listing ad. And let's see, for sale, maybe this. So if you have text, it auto associates a text number. And I don't have it here. That the number would be right here. Okay. And you could turn off text, but I don't recommend that. I think when you're about to publish the ad, if you see the number right here, click in the box, highlight the number, and take it out, okay, before you do it. If you've already got the ad running, and this is true for anybody, okay? There are times somebody emailed me over the weekend and she had an open house. She's like, hey, I ran an ad, but it's not working. You see this button here that says on off? When your ad is on, it's going to be green and on. Okay. And I'm telling all of you this because I'm actually speaking to Natalie about, and so, because she's saying, hey, I've got something and there's a text and I don't really like it. Right. So if something, and what happened with this other agent is they ran an ad, it was running, but nothing was happening. Like it was a day in and 0 views, 0 leads, something's wrong. And I told her, turn this off like that, turn that out because it's not working. Who knows what happened? And go start an ad again. Just do a fresh ad. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So that's how, and for you, Natalie, because the text code is out there and you don't want it, I would turn it off, come here, turn it off, and go run a fresh ad. And then when you do it, take out that text stuff. I actually like the text stuff because it's going to send them a mobile optimized website where they can, of course, become a lead, and it's going to send you their phone number, right? And you don't know, like some people are seeing ads on their phone and they might be just like in Starbucks. How do I turn it off? Just like I said right here, when you come to the ads page, your ad is sitting right here and it's going to say on. It's going to have a green button that says on. You click it and it turns it off. And then you restart over. Okay? That's how you do that. All right. So we've been talking about buyers. Let's talk about sellers. And before we get into getting listings with Facebook, because we're going to get listings, today's call is Facebook and Google. So we're going to obviously focus there. I still get the option when I replenish. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay. So let me explain it to you one more time, Nellie. Okay. And maybe nobody else is really following along either. If I create the new ad, and in Natalie's case, the same text. So you see there's this text up here. This home has a text number, just like Natalie's. And she's saying, oh, it's still there. And what I said the first time is what I'm going to repeat. Click in the box and wipe that out, right? Wipe that out. Just say click below. Oh, it's on the blue bar. Oh, yeah. Okay. You might want to go over to text IVR. And this is going to be a long-winded deal. Unassign that number because it's assigned to your property. You might have to go to your listings and what you're talking about, that bar. And this is actually good. It's good for all of us to learn this stuff because this happens and becomes when we go to listings and all my listings are here, click on edit. And what we're trying to edit is a edit, market listing. Where do we have that? Share, social media. Can't remember where we put it here. Sellers section, custom code. Well, let's go run the ad. We've moved things around. So it's called a social media share ad, but you can edit that somewhere. And I don't want to waste a ton of time here, guys. It's on the blue bar. Yeah. Give me a second, have some coffee while I jammed up my computer. It'll pop up there. There is an edit image on any time you have an ad. And of course, now that I've jumped around so much, my computer is just, let me shut down some things. I just did a call right before this call and I probably have too much stuff open up. Okay, this is ads. Okay. We're just going to run an ad on any property. And now you know how you customize the text. So she's got the text. And what she is saying is, yeah, it's still in the blue bar. So right here, it's in here. We click on edit image and click edit again. And you should be able to edit by clicking here and just say, so you have to drill down a little bit in the edit and just say click. So you're taking out that text and then you go here and that's what it's going to look like. So now this is a different template than what you're looking at probably, but it's all the same thing. No matter what your template is, it's going to hit there. Can I close that? Yeah. Okay. So anyway, that's how you edit that. All right. Let's get into listings and let's talk about, we're going to first talk about Facebook and how to get listings because that's what we're looking at here. And normally, I'm going to tell you, I normally say this is advanced. Okay. And I would tell you only certain kinds of agents are going to want to go through this, listing agents. But I think as of July 1st, you're all going to want to become listing agents. And so what used to be advanced is now should be mainstream for all of you. And you should all be doing this. Okay. When you come to this page, you're going to have a Facebook button. You got to connect first. And it's going to say create a Facebook ad. And you'll have all those options. It'll show you this. It'll ask you if you click on it to upgrade and pay us $30 a month to use the software. I'll show you why in a minute. And you should have this create audience. And this is very important for you to get listing leads from Facebook. If you don't have this button, it's because there's a yellow box down here that's saying click to accept terms. And then when you refresh it, it's going to say turn on retargeting. And if you do all that and there's a message saying we can't do this for you, we can't create a custom audience, that's because there's something not right in your Facebook account. Email support, they're down here, and copy that message and just say, hey, I got this message, paste it right here. And they have instructions and they'll help you do that, right? You want to be able to create a custom audience on Facebook. That's just bottom line. Let me show you why. Okay. First of all, when we're talking about getting listing leads, and that's what we're talking about. Yes, Patricia, we can upload our own custom audience. Where did you get your custom audience from, Patricia? Where did you make it yourself, or where'd you get that list? So while she's answering that question, RedX does this. So we're going to get in that in just a minute. You want to create a landing page. Property Valuation Plus is the instant home value for any town that you want to build your business in. You just type in the name of the town, you spell it correctly, and you capitalize that first letter and create landing page. And voila, you're going to have a home valuation landing page. Please put in a picture of the town in the background, because you're going to be asking people for their address and their contact information online, and they don't know who you are. Okay. Just think of that. That's not going to be, do you just throw out your name, phone number, and email all over the internet anytime there's a page in front of you? I'm pretty sure the answer is no, right? And that's true for anybody that you put this thing in front of. Let me show you something. I set up the team accounts and office accounts around the country, okay? And so when I set up an office, I give them a call just like this here, like, how do you get listings with our platform? I set up Coldwell Banker in Summit, New Jersey. Summit is a small town of about 22,000 people. And the manager called me about a month later after we did all the rollout, and he said, God, we're getting leads all over the place. And the number one home valuation landing page has the picture of the Summit Diner in the back, right? Now, why would that be? Because it's basically, if you know the Summit Diner, Summit, New Jersey. And if you're going to ask me for your information, for my information, I hope you know I have some amount of trust that I know where you're from. And that's why you need to change the background picture, not to a house, not to the new McMansion. You need something that's going to resonate with anybody from that neighborhood or from that town. Okay. So that's first. You want to create landing pages, especially if you're going to be on Facebook and Google. Now, let's go back to ads and let's talk about what I was trying to explain, which Patricia's already ahead of the game. She's ahead of the curve. And you all need to have custom audiences for your target markets. Okay. I live in a small town called Lafayette. I would want a list of all homeowners in Lafayette. There's another town 5 minutes away called Walnut Creek, 30,000 people. I want a list of all the homeowners with more than 5 or 6 years equity. Patricia, what was the parameters on your list? Because you got it from right. There's a town called Concord and Orinda. We're going to see my landing pages on this call here. But if I was to use, let me just show you right now. Let me just show you. If Patricia tells us that answer, we'll know. But it doesn't matter if she doesn't have the answer. I can tell you what the parameters should be. So next to me is a town called Orinda. Cool little town. Leave it always on lead ads. That means name, email, and phone number. And I click create an ad. And you should be buying a list. So RedX sells this list. ListSource.com sells this list right here, ListSource. And I hear they're pretty inexpensive. Some lenders have access to these tools. Some title officers have access to these tools. Remind.com has access to this kind of list. And I'm sure there are plenty of other companies that'll sell that to you. There may be a cost. I heard that a list of 1,000, 2,000 people on ListSource is like $25, right? Not too much. At least start with one or two of your farm markets and build a landing page and get the custom audience for that area. And so here I've got Orinda. I got a cool picture of the old theater. That theater is nearly 100 years old. It's a small town. The grocery store is near there. If you see that, you know that I know Orinda, California. So you would think, type in Orinda, make an Orinda page, and go for it. Oddly enough, this doesn't work very well. And it really depends on the density. How many people, how many towns are around you? And let me explain to you why that is relevant. Okay. Orinda, just go look at the map and we'll understand. Basically, you don't have targeting in Facebook. Okay. That's the bottom line. You may not know this. A few years ago, Facebook was sued for illegal discriminating ads, right? Created by lenders, ads created by realtors. And so you really can't target the way you used to on Facebook. This little white area right here in this, but if I run an ad with the default targeting, it's going to be a minimum 15-mile radius. That means all the people in this area that you see on the map are going to see this ad, but the ad's only speaking to these people. That's why these leads don't actually work very well. And it's a big waste of your money because it's just not even hitting that group very well at all. Okay. Or worse, somebody over here in Alamo sees it, they click on it and chew up some of your ad spend. And then they go, oh, this is not even my town. I don't care. So that is the problem with that. And so you don't want to target by city. Like Patricia here, she has something like homeowners for more than 20 years equity looking for seniors. So you're looking for older folks is what I'm. So that sort of, and in a particular town, that makes sense. But I would say this, sometimes there's criteria that these companies offer, which it just squeezes the filter too tight. I really think if you have a list of anybody that owns their home more than 5 or 6 years, that's a good enough target. Here's an odd stat for real estate. Does everybody here know the average length of home ownership in the US? Average. I think it's 7 years or 8 years. So a 20-year list, you're missing a lot of people, right? The average home gets sold, I think, in 7 or 8 years, anywhere in the US. So definitely, I think a 5-year, 6-year list is plenty. And there are companies that sell that. Then you go down here, you see where it says retarget current leads and custom audiences, enter your custom audience. Now I don't have one for Sterling or I don't have one for Orinda, but if I did, I would call it Orinda homeowners or yeah. And then instead of targeting 500,000 people that don't live in Orinda, I'm just targeting the people on that list. Okay. And that's how it is. That's just how it is. I'm just going to say this for everybody on the call and kind of for you, Patricia, in general, because just so you know, this is just food for thought. One of the reasons that Facebook was sued by HUD was for discriminating ads. And they were able to say this related to zip codes. They say, oh, you were targeting like a wealth factor or something, and that's discriminatory, right? The other thing was age. And so that kind of got people in trouble. I don't know how you're pulling your list together, what's visible, but I just want everybody to know. Yeah, so let's get to that question. If I got the list and I did it the right way and it's 5 years plus or 6 years plus, how do I get it in the system? And that's what we're going to do right now, Patricia. I said this earlier. There is a button on your ads page that says create audience. It's a blue button. And it's not green because you don't need to use it all the time. Once you do this, it's set and then you can forget it. But let's click and see where we're going. You see this blue button that says create audience? Click it. And I think you, Patricia, Nancy can't hear. Check your speakers. Everybody can hear me, right? I think everybody can hear me. Yes. Yes. Everybody can read. Okay. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Okay. Thanks, everybody. And what happened here? Let me refresh this page. So we're on the ads page. And as you can see, although it's grayed out, there's a create audience page. And you need to click that button and you name your audience, right? Orinda homeowners, right? Because I have that ad running in Orinda. It's got to be 1,000 leads long. So whatever list you have, and there's a neighborhood over here called Release Valley, beautiful homes, super expensive, really nice lots. These, like, you want to be selling homes there, but there's only 750 homes, so that list is not going to be 1,000 leads long. So what do? You get that list, and then you get some other people, other leads, maybe who are adjacent, and you get it 1,000 leads deep. Then you click upload, and you click import, and it lives inside of your Facebook account. Even if you stop working with us, it's going to be a custom audience for you in Facebook. You can actually do this without our software. You can create custom audiences. And let me tell you, it is an ugly experience. Let's see. My volume is on and high as it will go. Maybe reboot. Yeah. Sorry, this lady can't hear me. Here is a very important tip for all of you who are buying lists, like I'm saying. We really need to make this bigger. It's just, I don't know. It says use this format. Please look at this before you create a list, because when you buy a list, and I think Patricia can tell you, you probably get 20 columns of data. Yeah. What is the information Jack is adding? What is the information needed to create the custom audience? It is right here when you click use format. It has to have those headings: email, number, first name, last name. And that's the data you need in there. Okay. So it doesn't matter if you're buying the list from RedX, Remine, you're getting it from Title Pro 24/7, you're getting it from listsource.com. It just doesn't even matter. It has to look like this. Save a copy of that big data file, and then save another copy and wipe it down to 4 columns, just like this. Don't hide the columns. It only needs this data. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. Okay. Then you import it, and it lives in your Facebook account, so that when you say, hey, I want to create a landing page ad for instant home value in Atlanta, I can type in the zip code, lead ad, so I get pre-populated name, email, and phone number. When I type in the zip code of the city, we're gonna pull out the recent sales of the previous month. You would think, because I got an Atlanta page here, that I should type in Atlanta, but if you're following along, I'm telling you, no, don't do that. Instead, go get your custom audience and then type in down here Atlanta homeowners, or whatever you call that audience. Is that making sense to everybody? This used to be advanced stuff, but I'm repeating myself. This is going to become very important to stay in this business. You're going to need, if listings were hard before to get, it's going to get harder, because people are going to realize, to survive in real estate, I better get listings. So they're going to do the easy stuff. You're now learning the advanced stuff, and you need to get that list here. Now, there's something else to do with that list. I will tell you this. I'm gonna just say halftime. We're at 11:30. I'm going to show you a couple of things that don't have anything to do with Facebook, but I'm going to tell you anyway. Okay? Because we're talking about getting listings. It's very important. The number one tool to get more listings, and by the way, let me go show you this real quick. I do a class every 2 weeks called on leadgenwebinars.com called Top Tools for More Listings. And the number one tool is actually on the listings page. Our clients use it when it's just listed, the property is just listed, and again when it's just sold. And it's called the Nearby Homeowner Letter. And it looks, actually, I think I downloaded one. So looks like this. It's a simple piece of paper, guys. Okay. It says, we just listed a home, or we just sold a home. Go check it out. Take this piece of paper into your own house and check it out. And by the way, that's going to affect your home value. Go here, same piece of paper, go get your free home value. How do you get value out of that? Why is that the number one tool in our system to get high quality listing leads? And again, remember, we're diverging from Facebook, but it's important. I think that's our most important tool. It's important when you send it to a group of homeowners that have equity. This lady takes that letter, she folds it on the back, she prints out like a little envelope thing, and she handwrites these addresses. She has the same kind of list that Patricia has from RedX. So we'll answer your question in a minute, Patricia. So Patricia, you got that list. We talked about how we upload it to Facebook. She's using the same list and mailing 100 just listed letters, the nearby homeowner letter. Then when the home flips to sold, she changes it to sold, and she mails another just sold letter to the same list. Maybe not the same people, because there's probably more than 100 people. Each time she mails 100 letters, she gets 4 people who want to sell their home. Okay. So she has one listing, 200 pieces of mail, 100 just listed, 200 just sold. And now she has 8 people who want to sell their home this year. I just want to point out that list can be used in print at the same time that you're using it when you're running ads. And another important point, we have e-flyers for your database. If you take that list, Patricia, and you put it in Constant Contact or MailChimp, or you load it in your CRM, you can copy these tools, copy this, and blast out this flyer that's going to get your free home value. Hey, I got an open house. Check it out. Going to affect your home value. Get your free home value. You can use that list in email and on Facebook and in print. It's important to know. So, Patricia, I'm confused. A city is okay to target. It's okay if you're trying to get buyers, Patricia. If you're trying to use a home valuation landing page, and this is, guys, I know I talk fast, but you need to really understand this. If you're trying to get buyers on Facebook, just get a listing in there and run an ad. It's not difficult at all. If you're trying to get listing leads with landing pages offering a free home value for your town, like Orinda, like Orlando, like Philadelphia, like any city, whether it's big or small, you need a particular landing page for that town, even sometimes right down to the neighborhood, right? Maybe you live in Orlando and there are big parts of town that you want to focus and others where you don't want to focus. I'm going to do Martinez here, lead ads, and I probably have a Martinez landing page. I don't know if I put a picture in it. You don't want to use Martinez. You don't want to type Martinez here. You want the custom audience, Patricia, of the city. Just think of it this way. You have a list of homeowners in Sterling. When you're trying to get listing leads, use the Sterling homeowner audience. Don't type in Sterling up here. When you're trying to get buyer leads, go ahead, right ahead and type in Sterling, Virginia, and excuse me. And you can do a wider radius if you want. It doesn't matter when you're trying to get buyers, a lot easier. When you're trying to get listings, if you're using a landing page, you could very easily be wasting your time and money if you don't have a custom audience. Okay, so we've gone up and down about all that. Worth noting, if you want listing leads, run ads on properties that are sold. Got a property sold? Even if you help the buyer, you're the buyer's agent, you help them buy a house, that home is going to be sold. And you also know that most agents don't bother to market their homes when they're sold. You can just say, hey, I'm going to pull that. I'm going to manually enter that listing in because I know it's closing in next month. And then I'm going to run ads on it. And it says, hey, that home is sold. It affects your home value. Click here to get your free home value. Bang. Now, I could do 15-mile radius. It's not that bad. But let's say Patricia has that list for Sterling. I'm going to assume Sterling is an important town to her. If I have things happening in Sterling, I want to keep targeting those people so that they know my name, right? I don't know if you noticed this, but it says it's sponsored by the best listing. This is our account. When you're running an ad, it's going to be sponsored by Patricia, the rockstar realtor of Virginia, or whatever her business page is called. Same is true for you. Your ads are sponsored by your page and people start to recognize you are the realtor. Every time you run an ad, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 people will see this in your area. That's why it's so smart to run ads on Facebook. Yes, you get leads. Yes, there's a different cost per lead and there's different qualities of leads, right? But that's all what's going on here. So you might want to, if you're doing anything for homeowners, and that's what a sold ad is about, you might want to target your custom audience list. You don't have to, but you want to. If you're writing anything down, please write this down. If you run an ad on a home that is sold like this, these leads cost $7 each. You can see that the budget by default is $50. What does that mean? That means you divide 7 into 50 and you can expect 7 leads because each one costs $7. Okay. So there's a price per lead. That's what's going on. If you run an ad on the home value page, remember the ones that we were doing for Orinda and Atlanta? Those leads cost $15 each. So if you're running a $30 ad, let's just do it real quick. If you're running a $50 ad in your market and these seller leads are $15, you're only going to get 3 leads because 3 times 15 is 45. You'll have $5 left over. Okay. So there's a different cost per lead depending on what you're doing. How recent do the sold homes have to be? I don't know if there's a rule. I really say not more than 60 days, but maybe you do it a little bit longer. Yeah. Here's something, if you're following along, this is a pro tip that nobody really knows. Okay. Some agents know to market their listings when they are sold, right? They know if I do that, I'm going to get more. I would just broad brush it and tell you 10% of agents actually do that, right? They know they got to do it, and maybe they'll start doing it now that everybody knows they need to have more listings. But what a lot of agents don't know is that if you run an ad on a home that is under contract or pending on Facebook, no other agents are doing it. So your cost per lead is way cheaper. This is an ad. The text in the ad is almost identical to a sold ad. It says, hey, that's going to affect your home value. Click here to get your free home value. Now, these leads, because nobody else is doing it, often cost our clients $2.50 or less. So if it's $2.50, you're going to get 20 leads with name, email, and phone number. And we actually have clients doing this every week. Compare that to running a home valuation ad for whatever town you're creating a landing page for, and you're going to get 3 leads for the same $50. Or running a sold ad and you're going to get 7 leads, right? Now, there might be a difference in quality of the lead because what they're responding to, but it might not be. And you should definitely have some sort of conversion process, right? Like texting, dropping off messages, dropping off PDF guides for homeowners, emailing, right? Stuff like that. Do we need to inform the listing agent that you are planning on running a Facebook ad on their listing? That's a great question, James. I don't know because I don't know your office rules and I don't know your MLS rules. And they're going to be the people that have the answer to that question. You should all know that before you start marketing other people's listings. So we have talked about with Facebook that you can run a listing ad for sale to get buyers, open house to get more buyers, and pending or under contract or sold to get listings. I recommend you always leave it on lead ads because these leads are pre-populated from the profile. Nobody's typing in anything. Fastest way to get leads with accurate phone numbers. Not 100% accuracy, but a lot. Let's talk about Google. So we haven't talked about Google, and I think Google's been around longer than Facebook, but Google is the number one website in the country. Facebook is number 3. Okay. And Facebook is cool. Don't get me wrong. There's a great thing about Facebook that Google cannot say. And that is that American adults spend 40 minutes every day scrolling through this news feed, looking at all the fun stuff that their friends are putting on there. They're looking at what their kids on. They're looking at their favorite music. They're looking at the places that they like to vacation. Here we see an ad from Wayfair, right? They sell weird house stuff. Right. Your ad shows up right here. When I click shop now, it takes me to their website with articles that says learn more. And then a pop-up comes up with their name, email, and phone number pre-populated. But because Americans spend 45 minutes a day looking at this site, your ads can be very effective, right? But when I have a question, or not just when I have a question, When American adults have a question and they go to the internet for an answer, 86% of all adults come to this page, google.com. And they usually have a question that they want answered, right? Like, where's the best steak in New York? Or who has the best martini in Miami? Or how do I sell my home? What's the cost to sell my home? What are the taxes when I sell my home? What do I need? There's all kinds of questions about homes. And if you're sitting like I'm sitting in Lafayette, if somebody types in those words, these people right here are paying for anybody sitting in Lafayette typing in those words on Google. And if I click on here, it's going to land on one of their landing pages, not ours, because I don't recognize any of these people. And ideally, I become a lead. So how can you compete there? You come to here, you say create ad, and you either want to run a landing page ad or a PDF guide ad. I really recommend Google for everybody that wants a listing. Okay. If you want listings, I don't recommend running ads on Google if you want buyers, because I mentioned the fastest way to get buyers is Facebook. But let's say we want to run a landing page ad on Orinda, because we were doing that on Facebook. So obviously we want to attack it from the number one website in the country in Orinda too. So all you have to do is type in Orinda. Oh, something weird just happened. California. And this landing page for Orinda, this is a pay-per-click ad. So it's a $50 a day budget for 7 days. Okay. That means you could spend $350. But here's the thing, and you want to definitely know this. When they click on that ad, so you see that ad, those words, you see this, that's what it's corresponding to. So if I click here on ads and I change it to desktop view instead of mobile view, that look is this. If we click here, you don't have to. You'll see the landing page that I created for Orinda. So you know if they click on the ad, they're going to land here. Okay. And then this is going to ask them for their address and stuff like that. Okay. But let's talk about that budget, because that freaks out a lot of agents, and it's understandable. $350 in 7 days. What's that all about? So these kinds of leads, this is all, the price per lead is on Facebook decided by Facebook, and or Google decided by Google. But they use what's called like auction-based pricing. Okay. So if you are like up in the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, and there aren't a lot of realtors around, your cost per lead is going to be less because you don't have as much competition. If you are in Los Angeles or Miami or Manhattan, and there's like thousands of realtors around you, the cost per lead is going to be higher. Now, I don't have a resource to tell me when you run this kind of ad what your lead cost will be, because I don't even know where you're sitting, but I haven't found that anyway. There's no real definitive list. I can give you a couple of data points because I talk to a lot of people. In Dallas, Texas, right now, if you run an ad that says Orinda home valuation and you type in Dallas, those leads cost $30 each. So if you're running a $50 a day budget and they cost $30 a lead, you're only going to get one lead, right? If you change it to 60, you're getting $30 each, you're going to get 2 leads a day. Okay. If you change it to 90, you're going to get 3 leads a day. I remember when I spoke, one of our teams, big teams is in Dallas, and you remember I was talking about that custom audience list? They have in Dallas 3 lists of 10,000 people deep. So they have 30,000 people, and they run ads on Facebook to that group all the time. And they said, but on Google, they love our Google software because it's easy. They said, yeah, our leads cost $30 each. And I was like, wow, that's a lot of money. And he's like, that's true. But our homes are priced at X dollars, and our commission after split is this amount of money. So we're comfortable spending this number of hundreds of dollars to earn that commission. And you might want to think about that. What does it cost for me to make, I don't know, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000? Does it cost me $1,000 in ad spend or whatever? Because here is a great place to be competing, is the number one website in the country. Just for education, you don't need to know this to do this. If you click on advanced options, you're going to see that we have put in all kinds of keywords. And so you know that when I did the search here while we were talking, I said how to sell my home. Those keywords are somewhere in here, right? And You also have to write multiple headlines. We do it for you automatically. You also have to write descriptions, multiple descriptions. And yeah, we do this all for you automatically. That's why it's worth the $30 a month to use our Google software. I think you're going to want to be competing on Google, and we just make it very easy to do that. So let's see. I see more questions. Can you quickly highlight a few most effective landing pages to get listings? When it comes to the landing page section, the number one landing page is home valuation landing page. Okay. And it's called Property Valuation Plus. You want to make that city specific. And what makes it effective is, did you put in a photograph that's going to be reminiscent of that area? And that's an effective landing page, right? I think a more important question, let's see if I have a landing page, is how do you get people to this page? That's actually a more important question, okay? And Google is a top way to get people to this page because they're literally going to Google and asking a question about how to sell their home. And then your page shows up, right? And it's, oh, that's maybe they're typing in, what is my home worth, right? What is my home worth? Okay, then you're going to pop up and now you're, oh, I can get my home value right here. Okay, cool. Got it. That's good. If you run an ad, same landing page, you run an ad on Facebook, maybe not as good because they were looking at pictures of their friends and where their grandkids are going for vacation and all kinds of nonsense. And then there was your ad. And they're like, oh, yeah, I am curious about my home value. Okay, yeah, let me fill that out. But they didn't go to Facebook looking for that answer. You just happened to put it there at the right time, right? So not as high of a quality lead, right? And then there's the question, what if I use the print tools, what we were talking about earlier, the nearby homeowner letter, right? Now you're mailing that to people with equity and it's got something relevant in the letter. And now they're landing on this page. And now it's, oh yeah, now you're getting a very valuable lead. But basically the short answer is the home valuation page. The longer answer is how are you getting it in front of people? Because that's going to really drive the effectiveness. Now, one thing we didn't mention is PDF guides. And there are PDF guides for buyers. There are 80 of these. You each have 80 PDF guides. You are branding every page of every one of these guides. Okay. And if you click the green button here, you'll see there are multiple ways of getting this out. Some are free, some you pay. Facebook and Instagram, pretty easy. Here's divorce and real estate. Let's go run an ad on Facebook and Instagram. How do we do that? Lead ads, because we want pre-populated name, email, and phone number. As soon as they get, all you got to do is type in your favorite town, and boom, that's going. They see it, they click it, they give you their name, email, and address is already pre-populated, email address, and then boom, they can download it, right? It's super easy. But if you run the ad on Google, same deal. There is a landing page, right? There's a landing page for that. And when we go to Google, so this is a different, I say this only because there are 40 different PDF guides and there's a unique landing page for each PDF guide. And some are useful at the right time, right? And so I could just say, maybe somebody in Orinda is thinking about divorce, right? And so maybe a report on divorce and real estate is going to be relevant. So that's how you do it, right? But when you're if you're thinking of straight up landing pages it's the home valuation landing page. There's also a home sold landing page. It's just not as effective. You can do it. Let's just go look at the landing page section here. When we create a landing page, and each of you gets unlimited landing pages, you should actually be creating multiple landing pages. Let's see here. This is a good time for questions, guys. We have so there's nearby sold homes. That's a good landing page too, right? You could just type in whatever town you want, and boom, it's going to create that. And then they type in their address, and we deliver that. But I think the home valuation, the instant home valuation page is really the obvious one that you want to do. The question is, do you know how to use it correctly? And we started the call talking about custom audiences. I would tell you 1 out of 20 agents have ever run an ad on Google. And it doesn't mean that they were successful. They just ran an ad and saw that was an ugly process and never go back. I would tell you 50% of agents have run ads on Facebook, but they're not all successful either, right? Lots of reasons why that's the case. But what you're doing on Facebook, there's a lot of ways to make mistakes. And we talked about some of those ways. And the way, especially when it comes to getting listing leads, is to have a custom audience, and you will make that a lot more valuable. So I see some questions here. Let's get these answered. If we offer the annual, do we still need to sign up for Google? Yes. Yeah, Google's still monthly, month to month kind of thing. Yeah. And then James. So the subscription cost of L2L leads is separate from the cost. No. Okay, let me explain that cost, right? So the subscription cost of L2L leads is separate from the cost of the Facebook. No. So let's run an ad. Let's just run an ad real quickly. So both on Facebook and on Google, let me show you. Actually, I'm gonna stop here. I'm gonna sign out of this account. I'm gonna show you something. This is a live account we have a expansion team from Keller Williams in the Carolinas. And the way that team works is they have a marketing team, and they run ads for all the agents on their team. They just get the listing, get the leads from the office, and they run ads, and agents don't even log into this thing. It's just one person running ads, and they run ads at $100 each. Most agents don't do that. And they run like multiple ads every week because they're operating in 5 or 6 offices, and that's just their model. They're just like, get leads, get them to those people. Those people are going to call the leads, and we're going to convert. They've been doing this since Halloween of 2022. So nearly a year and a half, maybe. And I'm going to get us to that. I'm doing this because I think we can learn very quickly from this page. So these guys run $100 ads, and you can see that's a $100 ad. It's probably brand new because there's no lead. Here is a $120 ad. They spent $34. They're charging them $11.33 per lead. $80 ad, 13 cents per lead. Here, $10.50 a lead. Down here, why is this $5.87 per lead? Why is this $3.61 per lead? So when you're running an ad for $35 or $50 or $100 or $60 or whatever, there still is a price per lead that Facebook and Google are charging you per lead. Whatever that cost is, you're going to divide that, and that's going to tell you how many leads you're maximum going to get. Okay. First, and honestly, I don't know why the cost per lead is so radically different, because here the lead is $11.30 each cost per lead. Here it's $3.08 each. So if they spend $80 here, they got 26 leads. Why? Because it's $3 each. Here they spent $120. They got 4 leads. Why? It's 100. This is actually an active lead. This is a complete one, but we don't have we have something here. The point I'm trying to share with everybody here is based on when and where you run the ad, and when meaning, do you have competition in your local market running ads like this? In the winter, for instance, a lot of your competitors are taking a nap for the winter, waiting for spring, right? So your cost per lead can drop. These guys here, they operate year round, and they're running ads. And so I don't really have the exact formula of how Facebook sets their pricing per lead, but Facebook and Google do this, right? So when we run an ad on Google, and I gave you the numbers, I said, hey, if you run a home valuation ad on Google, and in Dallas, they're charging you $30 a lead, and in Western Pennsylvania, they're charging you $22 a lead, and in Utah, they're charging $17 a lead. If you're in Vancouver, British Columbia, up in Canada, they're charging $200 US per lead when you run an ad like that. Again, I don't know how Google sets it. I know it's all auction based, but there's probably some other formula involved. But that's how Google works. Don't forget, though, the cost of lead is higher for Google, and that's because it's the #1 website in the country, and they're literally asking a particular question, and you're answering that question, right? What is the taxes when I sell my home or whatever, right? That's when your ad responds, and that's when our landing page captures the. Any other questions? Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys. I know there's a lot of information here. Pointed out, normally at the beginning of the call, we record every class we do, and this class is being recorded and it's on our YouTube channel. If you're still here, I'm going to send this to you right now. And I'm going to tell you why I'm sending it to you. This call that we're doing today, it's maybe 80% overlap. Like what I say 80% of the time is the same. But sometimes I have a lot of conversations every day with people. So I'm hearing different things, I'm hearing different questions, or there's maybe new technology that we push. So I really recommend that you watch our Facebook and Google class and top tools for more listings, that you watch a few versions of each of those so that you thoroughly know what's going on here, so that you really know how to get listings for your business. I know it's a lot of time. I know realtors are not really into watching 1 hour long classes. I really appreciate you hanging out with me here today, but there's more. And our platform works incredibly well for people who know how to use it. And so I think if you want your business to grow, learn how to use our platform. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you all have a great weekend, and talk to you soon. Don't forget, our support team is awesome. If you have questions about any of the stuff I've mentioned, there's a support page right here, and just let them know what you need help with, and they will definitely help you out. Thanks, everybody. Take it easy.